Welcome back. We were just finishing getting everyone in the lobby, but we can discuss a little bit more about this match. Again, it's going to be Achieve Esports versus Team GUSIC. They've already played 2 maps. They're tied up at 1-1. And Jonah, we'll be moving on to map 3, but it's no Oregon. It's no Cafe. We get Coastline.
Thank God.
Oh, wow. We got to skip Cafe in Oregon. I am so happy.
That would have been brutal had we had a third Oregon of the night. But no, we've got Coastline. We're ending with hopefully one of the most exciting matches of the night. I mean, these two teams clearly neck and neck as they traded maps back and forth. So heading here to Coastline, I would expect the same thing. The beauty about this map is that, you know, if you know it or not, it's a frag heavy map, regardless of how you play it. And hopefully these two teams should be just going at it and just seeing which one is going to make SCS. It's map 3. The winner is into stage 2 of SCS. The loser will have to try their hand at our second qualifier. And yeah, they're going to be really bummed out if they don't make it.
It looks like it was 7-4 for Achieve on Cafe, 7-5 on Oregon for GUSIC. So it looks like each team took their respective map picks. So Coastline should be interesting as it plays very differently from either of these two previous maps. And looking at the rosters, I got the Achieve roster correct. It is Twizzler, TPA, Morocco, and then Exum and Maxley. Whereas GUSIC, so they have Unlimited, Baxley, and Teddy. We already talked about Needles coming in for Gnar, but it looks like they don't have Amp as well. They have Tristan. So whether or not Tristan is I think he's a sub. If I'm not mistaken, maybe he's a permanent addition to the roster. I'm not quite sure. What I do know is that in the past, in GUSIC's past games, Amp has been a player to watch. That guy, most of the time, of course, he has an off map here and there, but most of the times, that guy is quite frankly incredible. So in my opinion, Tristan and Needles have some pretty big shoes to fill.
Yes, especially if indeed he is stepping in as a sub. I don't know, how much experience he's got with this roster. That could be a factor. Clearly it worked well for them in the first map, at least, or the second map, as they were able to take their own map pick, but not their opponents. But we'll see how they shake things up on Coastline here. Right off the bat, we've got our first operator banned through, and it is going to be the Lion. A little bit unusual, but considering it's Coastline, it's not totally unheard of. Lion is incredibly powerful on Coastline and very commonly picked. Now, the Yana is more surprising given how prominent she is on every attacking team. Almost everyone likes to run her. She offers so much in terms of utility and information and just simple burn of those Aruni gates if we see that, but she will not be a factor here.
No, and neither will Valkyrie, a much more standard ban on this map, and really, again, every map in the pool. Valkyrie bans at this point are like Thatcher bans. Mira might be banned here, though she's not always the most popular operator on Coastline. We might see something crazy from one of these teams. No, okay, all right, it's just going to be Mira. So, man's pretty standard with the exception of that Iana, but it still does make sense, especially with Achieve. We've seen before play very aggressively, and taking that Iana off the board might just kind of hamper that a little bit. Could be a target ban, especially if the Iana player was going crazy on the first 2 maps. Maybe GUSIC just don't want to deal with that again. The Zofia, though, is still left up, as is the Ashe. We'll likely be seeing one of those 2 operators every round, and I was just about to mention maybe even the Jackal as an entry operator. In fact, we have Zofia, Jackal, Sledge, Buck, and Finka. 5 operators that could all effectively function as an entry. GUSIC obviously wanting to play aggressively, though Needles will not swap off the Sledge. It looks like he'll actually stick that. So quite the aggressive lineup for the attackers. I hope we're in for a fast Coastline, as those are always fun. Achieve, though, on the defense, they'll start out on Kitchen, and they, as well, are taking a similarly aggressive defensive lineup. They've got the Mutant and the Mozzie for the drone denial, who have very capable kits for aggression. The Thunderbird, who's got that rifle, 3-speed C4. We talk about her a lot. And those Kona stations. If you're a roamer, if you get lit up, you can go back to the site, heal yourself. That early damage, it's pretty much done and dusted. The Jaeger, we know how he is with the 416C. And of course, the Oryx. TPA loves this guy. He doesn't just play it on aggressive maps like Coastline. He's looking to maneuver around the map as best he can and hopefully catch Team GUSIC off guard.
Right, and the combination of the Oryx and the Thunderbird is always something really powerful to see, right? Because the Oryx, TPA's purpose here is to run all over the map, cause chaos, and be extremely mobile. In doing so, you often take a fair few amount of bullets as you're scampering away, as he sprints by a doorway. Maybe he'll catch 1 bullet to the back, but if you've got a Kona station in the mix, all you gotta do is find the nearest corner with a little bit of a heal box in there and just voila, you're back to full HP. But you never know. I mean, if he puts himself in a position like this behind the lobby desk, he may not survive for long. But as I say that, he will pop right up and take the head of Needles in a clinical opening blow for this Achieve Esports defense. He's actually not going to leave either. He's hungry for another. There is one player outside that main lobby as well to find that trade, and there's somebody in security to provide that cutoff. Either way, TPA is able to escape, and he will live to fight another day.
There's someone upstairs as well, though I don't think the Aqua hatch is open. Teddy's going to be under fire from the Jaeger of Twizzler, who quickly darts away. But now you have Exum coming into support from Cool Vibes. Maxley as well, holding a 90-degree angle on this rotate as Tristan finds a nade kill on Twizzler to even up the man count. And there's Tristan, a second now, coming in from Mudroom. So the clear, although losing Needles early, gets 2 kills back in the attacker's favor. 4 versus 3, they lead by a man. They could even go upstairs and apply vertical presence with Unlimited, as he is the Buck. They have that redundancy despite Needles being taken out early. And Baxley on the Jackal, looking to scan these footprints. Might come under fire from Exum if he peeks in too close, but it's actually TPA looking to land some shots down. He'll tussle with Baxley, but not land any shots. But finally, he peeks out. Down goes the Jackal. We're back to even.
Aggression from TPA, it's working so far. He is 2 for 2 on gunfights he's taken. He's won them both and shut down 2 very impactful operators so far. But the thing is, GUSIC has 5 operators, all of whom are incredibly potent when in the right hands. And well, looks like one of them will finally step up and respond. Unlimited will take down TPA. The Oryx finally fell, but Exum is there to find a trade as well. Now, Exum, trying to rotate back to the site, will get lit up by Tristan, but Morocco provides the support, and then he's there again with the SMG-11. Morocco gets a double kill to close out the round. TPA starts it. Morocco concludes the round, and that is a great way to start for Achieve.
Well played to Achieve. Again, just playing super aggressively. I think just judging by that first round, it looks like we're going to have quite the fast coastline. TPA peeking up from reception right out the front door, then getting another kill by the front door before finally getting traded out. And on the site, GUSIC just didn't really do enough in and around the map to take that control and dislodge any anchors. They were just pushing into already held positions. I have to imagine if they decided to go upstairs with Unlimited, they could have perhaps found a kill or 2 through the floor, or at least facilitated that window jump in a little bit better. But they focused solely on the horizontal, and it ended up punishing them. Now it's Penthouse Theater for the defense. The offsite of this map has started to come back into favor because of that VIP change. You can now anchor in that room, or because it's a reinforced wall, you can even deny the attacker's entrance there, perhaps even restricting them to just VIP. And Achieve will even be bringing out the Echo this time. Team GUSIC as well will swap off the Sledge. Needles is now on Nomad to hopefully restrict some of that rotatability we saw last round.
All right, VIP really does change up the way this entire map plays, not only this site, but it's going to be so pivotal for the defense to hold this and for the attackers to take that control. If you can't control VIP, you can't get that penthouse wall open, and, well, you can't get that crossfire between the penthouse wall, between that Guitar Hall of Fame hall, and that penthouse window. So we'll have to see how GUSIC want to approach this one, if they want to maybe enter from below and work their way, applying some pressure from beneath in kitchen, or if they just want to enter through Aqua, through Billiards or Hookah, and clear their way across from there. Maxley, though, will be getting aggressive, much like TPA in the previous round. This time it is the Jaeger who gets aggressive, takes an early fight. Tristan on the Finca, just trying to rappel up safely to the Aqua Balk, but that is not going to be allowed to happen. Now Team GUSIC are being forced to scramble once again. Now, not only have to get this kill back, but they've got to somehow get a handle on these roamers and these defenders who are going to be running all over this map and without much of a care in the world.
Now, well done to Max to get that opening pick, and that's on the Finca. Finca got 2 kills in the previous round. In fact, the opening 2 kills, that's also a lot of those, those boosts, nades, gone 6 off the board, and TPA, despite being stunned out by the Zofia, still lands a very nice pre-fire onto the head of Teddy. Bax as well is taking a lot of damage and luggage while tussling with Maxley, and he's going to have to walk away and lick his wounds, coming out worse for wear in that engagement. Needles throwing in even more stuns, will get caught by TPA. Once again, this will mine, not afraid to take these aggressive fights over the shield, despite the amount of utility coming at him. Now it's just Unlimited and Baxley in a 2 versus 5. They still have not dealt with this shield, and Impact will go out and deal just a sliver of damage to Unlimited. But Baxley's going to get spotted by that Yokai drone, and now they know he's trying to hit the back over towards Luggage. Unlimited will fell Exum, but is that going to be enough to turn the round in his team's favor? We've got a minute 20 to play with, but again, TPA sits stalwart behind this shield, and Baxley doesn't have enough presence here to push in and take control of this hallway, especially because someone's sitting in vase.
Maxley just waiting to push in, but Maxley knows this position is held. Maxley's got a ping, though. Could work with it. Maybe trying to bait it out with a smoke. Just covering that angle. Sees 2 down the long haul, but they're going to line him up. Just too many heads popping out of corners, and there was nothing he could do but fall to them one by one. Great round from Achieve. Started with aggression, ended with aggression, and that is really what seems to be the benchmark of this defense. It's not easy to defend on Coastline, but when defensive teams find success, it is often due to unpredictable roam, unpredictable aggression, and their ability to just out-frag their opponents. So far, 2 rounds in, Achieve clearly on the top in terms of the frag department.
3K for TPA sitting in pretty much the same spot the whole round 2. GUSIC did a poor job of trying to clear that shield in 90, which should not have been that hard, and yet they still lost 2 lives just burning. Didn't even get to the point where they could send explosives down that way. Now Achieve will go on to Hookah. Again, very similar lineup, only Maxley is now on the Malusi. It's Twiz picking up Jaeger. They'll finally drop the Thunderbird. Guess they just don't need it for this site. Maybe not as much roaming. They're reinforcing all the way over towards VIP, and because GUSIC aren't bringing any hard breach, not even a hard breach charge, I think Unlimited's taking stuns, as he has been in the recent rounds. Maybe VIP is a little bit harder to take. At least that Crossfire is going to be robbed of GUSIC, again, just because there's no Hibana and no hard breach charges in play. Unless Unlimited spawns and he's got those in his pocket and he just happened to switch from stuns, or maybe I just didn't catch it, then that's on me, but I don't believe he does. No, yeah, he is bringing stuns. I'm right. So there is no hard breach at all. And without that VIP Crossfire, things might be a little bit harder for Achieve. Or sorry, for GUSIC. Other way around.
Yeah, I mean, GUSIC, clearly they've had a tough time with it so far, just getting in the building, right, without finding an opening depth. So that is something they will have to remedy here. Just approach the building a little bit more methodically. Check your windows, check your corners, make sure you're not going to get spawn peeked. Tristan is doing that here, wary of somebody popping out behind the office wall here. But nobody is in office. Nobody's in blue bar. No one's even really in this entire floor. Everyone on the defense is upstairs, whether that is in the site itself, 2 of them, or extended over towards Master and VIP. They are still on the top floor looking for frags from above. A frag from Tristan will work its way from below, but TPA will stay alive as he tries to now relocate on the site above because he knows he's been spotted to some degree. There's also a Jackal in play, right? So those pings are constantly identifying the location of, I believe, it was Exum over on the top of those luggage stairs, the main stairs here. So he'll have to be wary of, again, the pressure from below. Because of that, he'll be supported by Maxley, so they'll make sure that no one can get caught off guard. But TPA will finally get taken down. The combination of the pressure from Tristan and Unlimited, the skeleton key, opening up the floor of that pink bar area and shutting him down.
That's a good first frag. Top frag of the lobby. Now dead. Wonderful stuff from Unlimited. You take the 1 off the board as well, making those shields a little bit more exposed, but more importantly, Unlimited now has free reign of the downstairs, and he can buck in from below, make those defenders on site a little bit more uncomfortable as the rest of his team looks to work their way by white stairs, but Bax looks away just at the wrong moment, and Exum takes advantage of it, swings on, and finds the late trade and the equalizer, now at 4 apiece, but Twiz just decides to sprint in the middle of the hallway, dies to Teddy on the rappel, and now we're back to a 1-man advantage here for GUSIC leading into the last 50 seconds. Maxley is downstairs, but he doesn't have a C4, so there's not really much he can do from this position, as Unlimited finds yet another kill, but he will run out and frag Teddy on the rappel, so big window, no longer covered here for the attackers. In comes Tristan, though, with the case. Curiously enough, looking to get aggressive instead of plant, Needles looks completely the wrong way and dies to the player in vase. Unlimited is also downstairs thanks to Maxley, but Tristan puts us in a 1 versus 1. Maxley now, after he finishes off Unlimited, is looking to come up cool vibes. Needles will be healed though, thanks to that Finka Blast, and Needles is looking to find the kill. Maxley not looking the right way, and GUSIC take round 3.
The difference there for Achieve is that the aggression we saw from them, it didn't really come out in the early round like those first 2 rounds we saw. It came out more towards the end of the round, in the mid round. And what that did is it just got Team GUSIC a little bit more comfortable. It had given them a little bit more map control, and all of them, they were supported by a teammate in some capacity or another, which meant that even when that mid-round aggression came out, and even if Achieve were able to find a kill, GUSIC were there to find the trade. Now compare that to the aggression in the first 2 rounds, where Achieve just started swinging and shooting the moment the action phase began. GUSIC could not trade those back, and they were a lot less prepared for that. I get the adjustment that Achieve were trying to make, right? They assumed, rightly so, that GUSIC would be a lot more prepared for that aggression than they had been in the first 2 rounds. Completely understandable, and that was probably true. GUSIC were probably approaching the building a lot more methodically than before and a lot more disciplined. The difference, though, is that in the mid-round, when Achieve eventually decided to step up and get aggressive, I think it was Twizzler who we saw kind of just run past Vase into billiards and just sprint on around the hallway, right? That mid-round aggression, or that kind of poor decision-making, whatever you want to call it, GUSIC was ready for that. They had somebody staffing that angle, and they were prepared to deal with a maneuver like that. That's the difference. Achieve just waited maybe a little bit too long, and the strategy that had worked for their first 2 rounds, they decided to tone it back, and that's when GUSIC stepped up and took the round.
Yeah, they were able to control the aggression of Achieve a lot more easily. Someone's spawn peeking. Who is that? Is that TPA? No, it's actually Maxley on the Legion. He'll just settle for a drone and skate away. We got Kitchen once again, where GUSIC had a pretty rough start on this site. It looked like they were starting to bring it back, but that early disadvantage really came back to bite them, and that was at the hands of TPA playing by reception. We just heard Max open up the barricade a little bit. He doesn't see the player by the blue window, though. If that player is still there, it is. He is. Unlimited was just sitting there, and Max, unfortunately, was not able to capitalize, but he'll continue to sit behind the Sunrise bar, generating those goo mines and such. Unlimited is also worried about that hatch, but he should be more worried about TPA holding this vertical angle on the window, and I don't think Unlimited is aware of that.
Because right now, I mean, Unlimited is tunnel visioned on Maxley's position, trying to provide the comms for the entire team to deal with this, and there it is. I believe TPA, yes, from above will take down Teddy. He just was not ready for that. Wow. Now TPA will now step up and get a second. A double kill for him, and there goes Unlimited. Now it's a 3v5 with GUSIC on the back foot. This is that early round aggression I was talking about, putting Maxley and TPA in forward positions, in aggressive positions that force GUSIC to do something about it at the onset of the round. They hadn't gotten comfortable yet. They hadn't been able to take map control yet, and as such, they lost 2 kills just to the same player in an instant. Now they'll get one back. Tristan from this blue bar window will take down Exum, who was caught out in main lobby there. Good long angle as well, as Exum tried to rotate away, but Maxley is still a threat. TPA is still a threat, and all they've got to do is wait for these players to walk in. Needles will do that, but he'll finally get the shoulder of Maxley there and drop him down. They'll swing around and finish him off, and so just like that, we're returned to an even 3v3.
And they've got Jackal pings on the Oryx upstairs. TPA, it almost looked like those pre-fires were going to land perfectly, but unfortunately it was through yet another wall, so none of them hit. But they do know that TPA is off-site. There is a player on Cool Vibes as well. That's the Jaeger. Tristan takes a lot of damage, but Needles is going to chase down Twizzler. Morocco dead on site as well, thanks to Bax coming in from lobby. And that leaves TPA, the off-site player, in a 1 versus 3. You've seen him clutch situations like this before, but he won't do it against Needles. Team GUSIC take round 4, and now we're tied up 2-2.
Well, GUSIC will go straight for the all chat after winning 2 rounds in a row. And now that we're tied up at 2-2. Naturally, wouldn't be a T3 team if they didn't. But here we are, all tied up. GUSIC, despite, I mean, terrible start to that round, a 5v3, bounced it back and were able to take it in the end. Achieve, maybe they got too overeager in the mid round that time, right? I mean, that's what we talked about in the previous round. When the early aggression like that works so well, you got a couple of options as a defensive side, right? You can continue it. You can just double up on it and just say, oh, wait a minute. The attacking team has way less manpower than they did a second ago, so our aggression should be even more potent. Or you can back off and play safe. The risk, of course, of the first strategy is if you don't back off, if you keep challenging, if you keep playing aggressive, is that eventually the attacking team is going to catch on. And if you give away your life, like Achieve did, then those first 2 kills are for nothing. Had Maxley rotated back to the site, which he totally could have, I think what the next kill was Exum. Had he backed on off and not tried to challenge an office, it would have been a 5v3 for the remainder of the round, rather than a 3v3 that GUSIC could win very easily.
Well, we're back on Penthouse. GUSIC had a lot of trouble dealing with TPA's shield in the hallway. Hopefully GUSIC have gone back to the drawing board and have figured out how to adequately burn utility now. There's only a few Womidus, actually only one Womidus it looked like, placed there, and a couple ADSs. I mean, the Buck or the Nomad alone could burn those away and make way for the Finca or the Sledge to do away with that utility. Actually, no, okay, they're going to need both. I just saw more Womidus there. So, I mean, they're going to need a lot of burn, but it's not even close to impossible. But GUSIC have swapped up the push. Instead of Hookah over, it looks like they want to go direct through Hall of Fame and such. They still don't have hard reach, so they can't open the VIP wall, which could be troubling. Hopefully they can compensate for it somewhere else. Max is going to take some damage from Maxley, playing aggressively on the luggage window. You have Tristan down below, looking to burn or get some kills with these frag grenades. He's going to completely miss on the first. He's got no info on the second, so he'll hold on to it. Exum playing in the middle of Penthouse could potentially be a victim, but he is standing on the bed, so he might be able to narrowly avoid those. Max no longer looking at luggage. Might go down easy if Max peeks, but there is the down from below. Exum is on the floor, but in the meantime, Twizzler gets the refrag.
Unlimited trying to finish this kill off, but
Oh,
I don't
they can't
think
grab
it's
him.
going to happen. Yeah, he's going to get away. He'll be able to be picked back up, so...
And they got the Thunderbird.
Yeah, they got the Thunderbird. He'll be healed back up very quickly as well, as you just run through 3 of them. Look at that. It's like it never happened. Really an unfortunate turn of events there for Unlimited, who just, I mean, was inches off the mark with that skeleton key. But now it's a 5v4 and Achieve hold this edge. Now they just have to maintain it. TPA, he'll play aggressive and he'll spot out Needles, but missing a couple of key shots. And then Needles on the fadeaway as he drops down into Courtyard will get the headshot onto the Wamai. Another unfortunate turn of events for Achieve here. Another missed opportunity. But Needles is pretty low. Tristan on the Finca can bring his teammate back to closer to full HP with those stims. As Exum will also be trying to challenge onto the players building their way up in towards this site. I mean, they've got the crossfire they need. They've got someone in VIP. They've got the window pressure. They've got the Hall of Fame pressure. Maxley gets one, but Teddy gets the trade. Now Teddy steps all the way up to try to play, but he falls down the hatch. That's a mistake because he can no longer support the plant. That's going down. Morocco, he stops the plant with the Yokai drone, and Tristan, he's able to get one, but it is essentially a 2v2 on site until Teddy can get back in the mix. He stepped up only to get fried by Twizzler, who's now been traded out by Tristan on the window. Morocco steps up, takes down one, but cannot quite prevent Tristan from getting the kill from above, and GUSIC take another, and that's why they're typing again.
Tristan is the GOAT of that round, I believe, being the one to down Exum from below, if I'm not mistaken, and then transitioning to the rappel and covering the plant perfectly. Sure, Teddy was able to get in under the cover of the Finca, nab a kill and drop the hatch, but what dropping the hatch did do was establish some backside pressure. Achieve could not fully focus their attention over towards that window player because Teddy was coming up white. Now, sure, Teddy died, but that was valuable time wasted, allowed the plant to go down, and I mean, you still had Tristan on that rappel, who was not to be done for, able to get that trade as well, and that's 3 in a row for GUSIC, as Bax is pointing out in chat. They're looking for that 4-2 half, but they will have to attack onto Kitchen.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Well, Achieve, they lost that early edge they had. Haven't been able to take around since the first 2. But all they need to do is find one more. And then we're even. And then we're at our 3-3 half that we are so accustomed to on Coastline. But if GUSIC can go up 4-2, you know, maybe they would start to hold that advantage. It seemed that the Achieve playstyle they were bringing out was going to work so well. But GUSIC, I mean, yeah, we could talk about the mistakes that Achieve are making all day long, but GUSIC have done a fantastic job of making some adjustments and dealing with that aggression. And that's what I think is most important to highlight about this right now. Because, yeah, Team GUSIC, despite having off to a rocky start, they have really bounced back. You said it, 3 rounds in a row, Harrison. Now they're looking for a 4th.
Tristan has stepped up phenomenally so far in this game, who is actually not the sub. It's Needles is subbing in for AMP. Tristan is on the roster, and he's been incredible so far. Have not seen him play before. Surely will not forget the name now. Team GUSIC, last time they attacked onto Kitchen, they were successful thanks to a bit too much offsite play, I would say, from Achieve Esports. Maxley is again going to be holding down Sunrise. Tristan has a very long angle to play with this LMG. He's got a pixel just over the bar. Maxley will shoot the drone. And wow! It gets spammed through the wall! What a brilliant cluster of shots from Tristan. He'll down the Legion. Unfortunately, there's a Mozzie Pest, so we can't confirm that the player is down. Maxley will get picked back up, but he's not going to stay in Sunrise. I mean, sure, you don't get the kill, but you at least clear the position for free.
Yeah, within 60 seconds, that is a marked improvement from any previous attempt of clearing Sunrise that GUSIC have had. I mean, just a couple of rounds ago, they lost 2 bodies during that entire process. But now, they've got it, and they've got all 5 players up. Now, TPA, he's looking to remedy that. He's taken up a position here in main lobby and looking to challenge onto anyone willing to step their way into the building. Eddie seems to be somewhat aware of that, so he'll also keep his eyes trained towards courtyard as TPA is finally found and beginning to be flushed out here by Baxley, and there it is, confirmed. Fully flushed out, dealt with. Maxley gets a trade, though, on so low HP, didn't even take a bullet during that one, as Tristan is taken care of. And now Team GUSIC will be looking to bounce back from that. It's now an even 4v4. They've given up their edge, and now they've lost it entirely as Exum claims the life of Teddy.
Baxley can't find the trade either. In fact, Exum is going to deal a lot of damage to this Jackal. You saw Unlimited was attempting to hunt that upstairs player, but he's got very little info to work off, and in fact, he's just going to completely abandon that train of thought. Morocco posted up in bathroom, will likely get a kill from this angle as he's just so close to the doorway with that SMG-11. It's actually Maxley who's all the way upstairs, completely unabated. Bax is going to take even more damage, and Morocco will just drop off the sinks, prone on the floor, and finish off the Jackal. Needles coming in, will land the trade. There's still a 2 versus 3. Max off-site, Twizzler tucked in towards the window. Unlimited looking like he wants to push in, but he's got no info to work off of, and he doesn't even have the case. It's currently under Exum's watchful eye in lobby, and Unlimited goes down to Maxley, who has since returned to the first floor. It's now Needles alone, and he can't make anything happen against Twizzler. Achieve take round 6, and it's a 3-3 even half.
Yeah, here we are, all tied up. As coastline as it could ever get. Neither half proving... neither side of the map proving to be dominant over the other. Neither team emerging as dominant either. Maybe Achieve will be strong on the attack. Maybe GUSIC will be stronger on defense. But right now, we are on pace for what could be an overtime finisher. Now, both teams have had their positives, right? Achieve, they've done a great job, at least initially, starting out playing nice and aggressive. GUSIC, they're positive. They've done a great job of countering that very aggression. Now, in those last 2 rounds, both teams are kind of throwing whatever they can at each other and seeing what sticks. Achieve, they're mixing it up by maybe not playing as aggressively in the mid round, or once they get challenged, back off and play a bit safer. And GUSIC, they're getting a lot more confident with their clears. They are the ones now, or at least were on their attacking side, moving in a little bit more productively, taking map control a little bit more efficiently, knowing that they've got the gun skill and they've got the ability to shut down these aggressive players. And well, I think that change, it worked once, and it didn't work the second time. So yeah, we're all tied up here at 3-3, and we head to the second half to see how Achieve now can work their attacks. You can't just run all over the map as an Oryx if you've got to actually work your way in and get a bomb down. But unlike what we saw from the Achieve defense, GUSIC's defense, at least their lineup, is geared up a little bit more towards some on-site play. You've got the Vulcan shields from the Goyo. You've got those ADSs from Jaeger, naturally, but you've got Needles running the smoke here, probably to play a little bit more patient.
And as you can see on your screen right now, you have the Stage 2 qualifiers, January 14th through 16th. That is next weekend. If you lost out on Qualifier 1, or you simply haven't signed up yet and want to join the ranks of West Garfield Park, Aerial or Rise are invited teams. And oh, Jonah, now Chess Club, taking the 2-0 win over Shadow Realm. Sign up for our qualifiers next week. Exclamation point play for more info. And the sign up link, it's only $50. That is only $10 per player. And if you make the league, you get that money back. So if you're good enough, it won't cost you a single dime to enter into our league. So wait no longer. Sign up, and you can be featured on stream in our very next weekend. But anyway, like you said, back to the game. Interesting that GUSIC are establishing a lot of on-site presence, but of course they still have their roamers. They still got Teddy on the Vigil looking to wreak some havoc. He'll take a little bit of early damage. Not too much. Probably just going to shrug that off. Tristan is searching for this C4 kill as he can hear the people above, but alas, it's a little bit too early. And all that's done is giving the attackers a hole right onto that rotate.
Jackal spotting out a couple of these defenders, but they will sneak away. Nobody getting, other than the one bullet that Teddy has received, nobody getting damaged whatsoever. Now, this pressure from above, pretty productive so far from Achieve, right? I mean, 90 seconds in, pretty good progress. The only question remains, can they spot out anyone below? GUSIC right now are doing a good job of being mobile on the site. They're not exposing themselves to any of these angles, nor are they exposing themselves to any of those Jackal scans for too long. Tristan, though, right above them.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, he'll get a great shot onto Exum. Maxley, though, will get a trade as he takes down Tristan, and TPA on the follow-up on the Ash will get another. Baxley lit up as he sneaks past the Ash's crosshair and tries to get back towards the site, but TPA will not miss a second time. That bullet will find the head of Unlimited, leaving Baxley and Teddy in a 2v4 situation. Morocco shuts down one, and it is all up to Teddy. He'll walk straight into a crossfire. Is it going to be Morocco? Is it going to be TPA? It's in fact Morocco who gets the final blow, and a fantastic start to the attack for this Achieve side.
Wonderful stuff from Achieve, not only using the vertical play very well, if not getting a lot of kills, at least flushing out those anchor positions. They went 1-for-1 with that Mozzie, but it was really that position from TPA and Morocco. It seemed like GUSIC had no idea that there was presence in lobby. It really caught them off guard, and TPA simply kept the ball rolling, got 2 kills for himself, and Morocco found the last 2 as those defenders struggled to try and gain some advantage and any ground they could back in their favor. Now, it's going to be a hookah defense for GUSIC, once again bringing an aggressive lineup, but it's Baxley off the Vigil and on to nothing. He's just baiting the 6th. So he'll stick on the Vigil, likely have him roaming around, probably Tristan downstairs playing for that C4 as well. Achieve, they've had a knack so far of catching the defense off guard. I wonder if that's going to be a trend.
GUSIC, I mean, they are changing things up a little bit, right? I mean, I highlighted the more site-focused lineup of the previous round. It is anything but this time. I mean, we've got nobody designed for plant denial, right? Nobody designed for simple utility or time waste. I mean, you could kind of consider those Banshees from Teddy as a utility burn and as a time waste, but for the most part, you've got 5 capable fragging ops in this game, all with weapons designed for fragging, and Tristan wants to get started with a good ol' run out. Nobody's going to be spawning over there by pool, though. Everyone else from Achieve, they've actually all spawned over towards the southeast. They're not going to deal with any of those peaks. The one from Baxley will not be productive from the Vigil, but he'll reveal his position, and Achieve should know that they've got several defenders roaming up above, trying to wreak havoc, or roaming even down below. I mean, Tristan has worked his way into Kitchen and is hungry for a couple of kills. But Achieve, they're not going to fall into that trap just yet. They're not entering from below or through Kitchen. Instead, their entry point is focused on upstairs, likely on Master. That is usually where we'll see them make their entry before they clear their way through the top floor.
Drones coming in will confirm that there really is no top floor contention on that side of the map. TPA is free to walk in through Hall of Fame. A lot of this defense on the east side is downstairs. You got Bastley lurking on white. Tristan, like I said, on the first floor playing for that C4. They'll spot out the Vigil, and it looks like Twizzler wants to go on the hunt. He'll pop open the barricade, but now there's a crossfire being held between this Vigil and the Mozzie. Bastley will get the first frag. TPA goes down. That's your entry on the floor. Mozzie shooting away. A drone will also land damage on Exum, but there's a nade with his name on it coming his way. He pushes out just in the nick of time, but Twizzler holding the cross from main has that kill, and Baxley is now coming under pressure. The sledge popping open the wall. The Vigil backs off in the courtyard, and Exum says, you know what? I've done my job. I'm not going to tussle with these downstairs roamers anymore because that's the C4 dead.
Right, you've taken off the real threat from below. Theoretically, you could push the site now and leave Baxley down below. As long as you've got ample flank watch, you should be fine. There is no Nomad in play, though, so someone is always going to have to be, looking at a drone. At least TPA is dead, so he can be doing that for the remainder of the round. But you've got to be wary about somebody coming up from behind. If you're going to leave those roamers alone downstairs, expect the flank at some point later in the round. I mean, already, the Vigil Baxley is working his way up the main stairs, and somebody has got to be in position to stop it. Other than that, they're going to be in a bit of trouble if they can't deal with it. It does look like Exum had the coverage, or somebody else had the cover. Who was that? Top of red stairs. Twizzler? Maxley on the flank watch right now, keeping an eye on that, while Twizzler works his way across the rest of the map, trying to scan any further defender he can. But now Maxley should get this free kill onto Baxley. Yes, he will. Twizzler on a double kill as well. Achieve looking good.
Needles and Teddy left to pick up the pieces. There's going to be one from the defense, but it is instantly answered back. It's just this alibi to 1v3. Now, Twizzler and Morocco are very lit up, but what Achieve Esports don't have in HP, they have in pure body count. Plant is going down from Twizzler under the cover of smoke, and Needles, he's not going to be able to do anything about it. He'll try and push out under the cover, but he's not going to be able to Stewie 2K his way out of this one. Maxley shuts him down, and Achieve will continue to keep the ball rolling on their attack.
Yeah, the attack and half looking good for Achieve here. Not going to count GUSIC out, though, just yet, as the first two rounds of the initial half also went to Achieve, and then GUSIC quickly made the comeback. But the flurry of engagements in those closing moments, I mean, even if GUSIC could get a couple, Needles got one, just could not continue to further that aggression. Good patience there from Achieve. That's what I really liked in that last round, which is surprising to say, considering how aggressive and how that's really been our talking point of this map. Aggression, right? But Achieve did a really good job of slowing it down when they knew they were biting off maybe a little bit more than they could chew on, right? Exum, as you highlighted, Harrison, I mean, he was downstairs taking fights with a couple of those roamers, but then there came a moment where he's like, okay, we've got one of them dealt with. We killed the Mozzie. We know there's a Vigil still in play. Let's just back off. Let's just play passive. We've dealt with the C4. All we've got to do is hold the flanks. They did that. They got to safety, and they started challenging the site, knowing that eventually the Vigil would have to step up, otherwise risk leaving all of his teammates out to dry, and nobody wants to do that. So instead, they just placed the Thatcher. You've got him on support for a reason. Maxley is just going to stare at the white stairs for the remainder of the round, and that's his role. He did his role to perfection. He knew when Baxley was coming, he heard him creeping up the stairs, and he shut him down. As textbook as that. If we see that patience and that discipline from Achieve in all these rounds going forward, I think they could definitely take it. Because the aggression from GUSIC, there's no perfect counter to that aggression than with some patience and with some discipline.
We'll see if GUSIC can clean up their act. Achieve looking good so far. 2 rounds separate them from their opponents. Maxley is peeking a drone hole in bathroom. This is typically a death sentence for the defense, but he's looking to catch an attacker off guard. Unfortunately, no one will expose themselves to the Vigil. Twizzler will once again post up on that rappel where he was last time. Again, able to drone out some of those roamers, then fall downstairs to main and establish a much-needed crossfire. VIP is not reinforced, so Exum is able to breach that right on open and establish that horizontal coverage for the attack. He'll likely call Morocco over as well to open up the VIP wall in order to establish the crossfire in through Cocktail, but that'll probably come later in the round once Achieve have established a little bit more map control.
Twizzler is, as usual, wary of a possible run out from the main lobby. Baxley does remain in that position, but maybe earlier than last time he'll sneak his way up the white stairs. But now he's got to be wary of the window too, right? He doesn't have an easy, safe rotation because now the attackers have pretty much secured control of the east side of this top floor, and they'll be looking to use that control to cut off any roamers that they can. They haven't dealt with any of the players down below, but for now it doesn't matter because Tristan can't do much. He doesn't have a C4. He's just an alibi after all. And Teddy doesn't have a C4 either. That's a Malusi. You've got impacts with a BP, and, well, he's brought the BP. So on the site itself, it's going to fall onto the shoulders of Needles here and Unlimited, who I also believe is on the site because everyone else is downstairs, or at least now downstairs, eventually likely to rotate themselves back to the site. Teddy, though, first to strike. Headshot onto Maxley, one of those flank watch players who will no longer be able to keep things tidy and keep things tight. He'll have to fall into that. Good shot there from Unlimited as well, as 2 kills are found for the defense.
That'll put GUSIC in a pretty good advantage here, but Achieve still have enough going for them where they might be able to start an initial execute. But just as I say that, their smokes go down, and now the round is going to be tough to win. TPA will step up and grab the first for his team, but doesn't see the melee hold that Unlimited is holding, and it now falls on the shoulders of Morocco. 4 kills for him to find, and only 30 seconds to do with. Teddy will deny him any sort of clutch attempt, and GUSIC take round 9.
Well, we've got an aggressive coastline, and that is what we asked for, but we haven't really seen, we haven't seen a lot of close rounds. I feel like each round is just coming down to who is winning these couple opening duels, and then that team is just winning it out every time. Now, we're close overall, though, on our scoreline. It's 5-4, and with an SCS spot on the line, I know these teams are trying to they're trying to outsmart their opponents if they can. They're trying to see, okay, here's an adjustment that our opponents are going to make. How do we counter that? How do we counter an adjustment before the adjustment is even made, right? On coastline, that train of thought, while it's beneficial, it can get you killed sometimes too, right? This is an aggressive map, and there's a lot of fragging, and it may just come down to which team is feeling more frag comfortable tonight. Achieve, clearly they were comfortable for those first 2 rounds, but they're starting to let that slip away a little bit. GUSIC in that last round, they did a good job of maybe backing off of that aggression a little bit and surprising Achieve in that, but then just bolstering their on-site pressure, something that Achieve just were not prepared for. When Achieve is unable to get those picks off-site, seems that they struggle getting some sort of cohesive attack going.
Yeah, Achieve last round were didn't look great. Team GUSIC decided to get aggressive, and it really worked out for them. Every time Achieve kind of just tried to step on the site, someone was there peeking them. But now we're on double bar, and Achieve Esports have swapped onto the Dokkaebi. Interestingly enough, someone spawn peeking. Is that Bax? Yep, that's Bax. I want to see if this works out. Nope. TPA is going to simply avoid it. That's unfortunate. We haven't seen. It's surprising. I was expecting like tons of spawn peeking and stuff this map, but we've only seen it like once, twice.
I think we saw most of the first half, but it was only from Achieve. It wasn't from GUSIC, like, much at all. Interesting, though.
That is
Good
true.
point. But we all are going to see, spawn peek or not, we've got an early fight. Quite an early skirmish here. We are on the double bar, and that means Sunrise is going to have a lot of pressure from the beginning of the round, and as far as defensive success goes, it really comes down to how long you can hold off the attackers who are just going to pour in from that mudroom door. Obviously, as a defensive team, you can support from above, as Baxley is attempting to do. Tristan as well is attempting to do, but both of whom are, getting spotted out and are likely to be forced out soon. They don't have utility really to support them. They're just going to rely on their impacts or their ability to charge through walls and their gun skill to get them out of this top floor alive. Achieve, though, they aren't putting too much pressure into clearing them out right now. It was just one player on the hookah balcony a second ago. Now it's somebody else assisting on that hookah rappel, Maxley, droning that one out and waiting for his moment to strike. But Achieve got to get something done. Right now, they're just trying to open up angles, but Maxley, he is not feeling enough pressure that he feels needed, to rotate away. The site isn't being pressured enough that he feels needed down below either. And even though Achieve have an opening on the site, they can't push in safely knowing there are people up above.
There's more than enough coverage right now for GUSIC. In comes Teddy, though, on a security flank, trying to catch TPA off guard. The drone is in sight, and the Ashnose Blue is clear. He's going to try and move through the rotate. The Jaeger's watching it, though, but Unlimited still loses the fight. Backs as well, gets extremely lit up, and TPA with that kill, that might be the opening the defense needs. Teddy gets one, but he's crossfire. TPA gets a third in the sight on the needles, and it's all falling apart. Now it's just Backs in a 1 versus 4. Plant is going down, and he's so low on HP. Teddy completely irrecoverable behind the bar, finished off by Max. And now it's a post plant. It looked like a decent defense for GUSIC, but it has completely fallen apart. TPA looking for his 14th kill, but it'll be Maxley now dropping the hatch and coming in the blue to finally finish it. It's 6-4 map and match point for Achieve.
Yeah, series point and SCS qualifier point for Achieve. One more round is all they need, and they've got 2 chances to make it happen before overtime rears its ugly head. They win this one or they win the next one, they can make it nonetheless. And that's why we're going to see a timeout here come out from Team GUSIC. They're going to want to take the time to think it over, to talk it over, to figure out exactly what they have to do over the course of the next 2 rounds to remedy the defensive issues they've been having and send this one to OT. If not, if they can't take 2 defenses back to back, they will find themselves out of their opportunity to make SCS in this first qualifier. They'll have to turn their eyes towards qualifier 2, which is coming up in just a couple of days. Next weekend is qualifier 2. Again, keep in mind, if you want to sign up for that, you still can. Signups will be open until the day before those quals, so make sure to get into that. It's $50, $10 a person. Just choose to eat leftovers instead of ordering DoorDash one night, and bam, you've got the money to make the quals. And hey, if you qualify, you get that $50 back as well. So not a lot on the line. If you think you are good enough to make it into SCS, we'd love to have you.
Like you said, if you're good enough, it's actually free. That's how it works out in the end. But again, we're still waiting for this last player from GUSIC to rejoin. Hopefully Bax figures out whatever's going wrong pretty soon. It's going to be a kitchen defense, it looks like, for GUSIC. Of course, it's not locked in for sure quite yet, but I doubt they'll be changing it between now and then. You got the Echo, Aruni, the Thunderbird, and the Jaeger. So it looks like, again, it's going to be quite the site-heavy focus, but we said that about GUSIC once before, and they ended up extending all the way over towards Sunrise and such. The Thunderbird will make it so that if there are any roamers and they get lit up, they can fall back to site, safely heal themselves back up to full, almost like that initial damage never happened. The Echo as well from Teddy, really relying on the fact that whatever either site presence they have or whatever roam presence they have is enough to delay Achieve so that those yokais can come into effect. Achieve, on the other hand, are running the exact same lineup they had in the previous round, though. I don't know how I feel about the Dokkaebi. I feel like, do you feel like the Dokkaebi really did anything in the previous round? I know he died kind of early.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I don't think I even heard I don't know if I heard a phone call. Maybe I'm just crazy. But, I don't know why he'd swap on a Dokkaebi instead of Jackal, because Jackal also brings smokes, and he's got, while it's not universal, he does bring more, quote unquote, scans. And he's been doing pretty decent with the Jackal. The round he brought the Jackal, he found a couple excellent cutoffs. I don't know, the Dokkaebi, I think the Dokkaebi is definitely an interesting pick.
Yeah, no question about that. We'll have to see. Hopefully we'll get to see soon, as we're just waiting on this last GUSIC player to return to the lobby. Hopefully we'll take a few more moments, but GUSIC, tech timeout or tack timeout, regardless, this is important time for them, right? It's still, they've still got time to talk this over, and Achieve Esports, I mean, they've got time too. They just got to make sure that they hold on to whatever momentum they currently have. I mean, they've had a much stronger attacking half than GUSIC did, at least right off the bat, ending up 3-3 with a good second half performance. That's just what GUSIC need to do again. They did it last half. I'm not going to count them out of this one. But just in the last couple of rounds, it has seemed that Achieve really do hold the edge. TPA especially, that was what he was able to just kind of sneak in through blue and get 3 kills. That kind of play really hurts as a defensive team. You're like, how did we let this happen? How did we let him slip through a gap? Where were the communications? Where was the intel? All of that. It's something that they're going to have to address in the several minutes they've had now. Something they had to address. Something they hopefully addressed. because when TPA is fragging out, it seems like GUSIC don't stand a chance.
Yeah, TPA as well during the normal season, I remember of SCS during stage 1, if TPA wasn't fragging out, Chiefs struggled, which is, I mean, one, an attest to TPA being a really good player, and two, Achieve maybe a little bit shallow. Hopefully, they've increased their depth during the off season, and we don't have a chance to see that right now because TPA is popping off, currently 13-7. But hey, maybe if they qualify, we'll be able to judge them harder in the regular season. Now that GUSIC have had time to cool down, Bax certainly took his sweet time getting back in the lobby. I was actually getting really worried we were going to have to rehost for a second, but luckily we do not. It's going to be a kitchen defense for GUSIC, one that they had previously lost thanks to a surprise play from TPA and Morocco through lobby. Whether or not GUSIC adjust and maybe sit a body in there is a different story, but it looks like they are going to be establishing some theater presence. And Achieve are going to have to deal with that if they want to move in through the same avenues they did before.
Right, if we see an approach from the Sunrise bar side of things, that blue bar side, and you take from, that kitchen window and maybe get some vertical pressure in VIP, you won't have to clear all the way towards theater. But like you said, if they want to pressure into main lobby and go more direct through bathroom, the top floor is going to be a problem. A lot of potential for soft destruction. That hatch is open and will be an ever-present threat. It's interesting, though, to see that only one player right now from GUSIC is actually on the top floor at all. There's a lot of utility up there, but there's only one player, and that shouldn't be too challenging for Achieve to deal with, especially if they're committing, 2 to 3 bodies to that. They should be able to do this relatively easily. The one hindrance they might experience is the fact that GUSIC does have an Echo in play, right? He's got the ability to have one of those yokai drones upstairs, and you've always got to worry about those C4s from below. Tristan, over in Aqua, I believe it was, sending that one up and sending the Dokkaebi, the operator we talked so much about already, sending Twizzler sky high. So Dokkaebi will once again not be a factor.
And unfortunately, we haven't really been able to see what exactly the Achieve Esports plan is with those phone calls. Unlimited holding on to these long angles all the way through Penthouse is going to get caught by TPA as he rotates, and that's the trade. So you've lost the Dokkaebi for a Jaeger. Trade still in favor of the defense. Here's Tristan now coming in to support. Bax from below with a C4 will frag TPA, and the theater control is not there for the attack just yet. Needles and Exum right now holding a staring contest. In comes the Aruni, but he's got no idea the sledge is already holding his doorway. But you could tell the attackers, they are completely ignorant to this position. But before Tristan lands the kill on the ace, Morocco got a kill from below. So a 2 versus 2 now, as Achieve and GUSIC keep finding trades amongst trades. Up comes Teddy, though. The roaming Echo, able to down the sledge. Beautiful stuff from him. There's no Finka, so there's no heals. And Max is not going to go for the pickup. He's just going to drop right on site, knowing that, hey, both of these players are not here. He's going to get overhealed by the Thunderbird, start getting this plant down. Teddy's since come back to the site, but it's going to be too late. It's now a post plant. Max just has to sit in this corner and hold on. He'll land one onto Tristan and a second onto Teddy. What a clutch from Maxley, and that sends Achieve Esports into stage 2. Down go GUSIC. Good luck next qual.
Wow, what a way to win. Brutal for GUSIC, who They got on the all chat early and they got punished for it in a big way. Achieve stepped it up. They come out of that first half and they bring it onto the attacking side in a big way. TPA lights up the scoreboard. Maxley putting up numbers as well. 12 kills for him, 14 for TPA. And GUSIC just didn't have that kind of fragging capability on their side of things. 10 kills was the most their top fragger had. Everyone else not quite hitting double digits. And on a map like Coastline, as much as we talk strategy and how that enables you to get frags, the kind of Coastline we saw tonight, it was frag or be frag. It was who is going to shoot first, who is going to shoot back or not. And it seemed that Achieve will once again be qualing for SCS. It's going to be a pleasure to have them back. They went a long way in stage 1. I cannot wait to see what kind of adjustments they're going to make in stage 2 and how far they can go again.
It seems like the change from Tracken and who was it? What was it again? Oh, Tracken and Riot to Maxley and Exum, at least for Qual 1, will work out in their favor. Like you said, though, we'll have to wait till the regular season to see if it truly does them better. They did make it to playoffs, so that was, again, kind of on not only their own play, but also Aerial forfeiting, so not completely off their shoulders. Maybe they can change that in in this stage, but congratulations, Achieve. They are actually the final team to make it through Qualifier 1. First, it was West Garfield Park, followed up by the Aerial Arise Pug Stack, then Chess Club taking Shadow Realm down 2-0, and now Achieve winning 2-1. In fact, the only qualifier game, or the only final round to actually go to 3 maps.
Yeah, it was close, and GUSIC clearly put up a fight, sending it to all 3 maps. May have taken Achieve a map to get in the mix, but, you know, they made it happen, and I think we'll see GUSIC back in Qual 2 in a big, big way. But for now, this is your bracket. This is the result of our closed qualifier for our first qual for Split 2. And we've got West Garfield at the top, as we talked about. We saw that one as our first game of the night. Chess Club, they beat Shadow Realm. We didn't see any of these games tonight, but we know they were close. I mean, 2 of those games going all 3 maps in that first round. Aerial Arise, the Pug Stack, going through Pangu's stack of Noob Slayers, 2-0, moving on, joining us in SCS, and Achieve Esports, as we just saw, taking map 3 against Team GUSIC after taking down the formerly known as Okami, now Whittle Kitties, in the previous round before that. That's a fun name to say, but we won't be able to say them anymore here tonight because it is Achieve who end up winning their section of the bracket. So these are your 4 teams joining us here in SCS. We've still got 4 more to add, and those will be added at the end of next week.
Yeah, of course, if you have not signed up for Qual number 2, do so now. I mean, you got time to establish a roster. If you don't have one already, signups are open all the way till the day of. So all the way to, I believe, Thursday, right?
Should be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so probably Friday.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's same day, not day of. Same day, earlier same day. So yeah, they'll be open all the way to the 14th. Got yourself signed up. It is only $50, only $10 a player. And if you are good enough, it's free because you get your money back if you qualify. So all these teams, these 4 qualified for free, and now you can see how the groups end up. So if you're unaware of how we seed the groups, basically what we do is we take the top team, right? The top 4 teams and do them in order, A, B, C, D. Then what we typically do is we, for the second team, we do kind of reverse, like we do the top one in D, but I think we actually reversed it for these groups because IF placed higher than Karn and Co. and Mystic. So I don't know how the seeding is working. I mean, the seeding is subject to change, but for now, we're going to have the number 1 qualifier team in the number 1 group. West Garfield against Wichita Wolves Academy could actually be really cool. Chess Club as well in the same group as One Shot and Wichita Wolves. The Aerial Arise Pug Stack joining Gasher's Goons and Mystic, who of course Mystic were previously known as Two-Faced. Of course, Wichita Wolves Academy also previously being known as Surf, if you are unaware. And Achieve joining Aerial Academy and Karn & Co. So these are the groups right now, and of course the last 4 teams will
Harrison,
be qualifying next week.
I'm being told now that it's currently wrong. Fermi just chirped in my ear. Basically what we're these qual teams right now, we're shuffling around, still confirming their exact positions. Also to add, the Wichita, what says Wichita Wolves Academy on your screen, I believe that is Wichita Wolves Red. I believe that is what formerly Surf, now
so
Wichita are known as.
Or is it Wichita Wolves Academy Red?
That's a great question, because we just saw Wichita Wolves Academy here in this qual, so we can't have 2 of the Academy. Who knows? Who really knows? The point is, we've got 2 Wichita Wolves teams, and here it has been fixed. We've got it shuffled around. So if this may be confirmed, we've got Achieve joining Group A with Wichita Wolves Red, Acad, whatever you want to call them. You got an investigation file in that group. Group B, that's the Aerial Arise Pug Stack joining One Shot and Wichita Wolves. That is a stacked group if I've ever seen one. A lot of CL talent there. Over in Group C, you've got Gasher's Goons, you've got Mystic and Chess Club, and Group D, West Garfield will be joining Aerial Academy and Karn & Co. So already Group B is looking scary, but as we've seen, you know, CL teams are not all that, they're not invincible, as we've seen in these qualifiers, and as we saw in the last split of SCS, these T3 teams, these Pug Stacks are running rampant.
As we saw in the standalone tournament as well, that was actually 2 Pug Stacks in the finals. So We have yet to see a T2 team win an SCS NSG event. And of course, again, if you want to be one of those teams that keeps T2 from winning in any capacity, sign up next week for our qualifier for January 14th through 16th. Only $50. You get your money back if you make it in !play for more info, for the sign up link, and for everything. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us through the qualifier. It was a little bit hectic towards the middle when we got the raid. We were scrambling to get another game. Unfortunately, we had to do West Garfield Park twice in a row, but thank God the second game was a little bit better than the first.
Absolutely. It was a great game to close it out, and we got to take a look at a third map of another series. So hopping it around, and coastline. We got to end with what felt like a real map, right? No more Oregon for the rest of the night. But thank you all for tuning in, especially joining us for Valorant or Apex. If you tuned in the middle and you stayed and watched, we appreciate you staying in and watching some Siege. We love it here. We love our game, and we hope you found some entertainment with us too. But that's going to do it for this first qualifier. The open qualifier is done. The closed qualifier is done. Our sights are set onto next weekend, and that is when we will be back. So until then, keep an eye on our Twitters, our socials, keep an eye on all that information. Look for some VODs, watch some VODs, study up on some of your opponents. We'll see you next week. So long, everybody.